Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea. Sakaleji, the headlines. UNZA workers and management in salary increment standoff. Government announces that Zambia has recorded over 1,000 cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Former NYUMBA teacher sentenced to death for shooting ex-wife. And in international news, US imposes a visa restriction on perpetrators of violence in Cameroon. And in sports, Zambia takes on Benin in an international friendly. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel. And now the news in detail. The University of Zambia Professional Staff Union UNZA has accused the University of Zambia management of being incapable of running the affairs of the institution well. UNZA Vice President Likezo Pumulo told journalists at a briefing in Lusaka that the refusal by UNZA management to effectively negotiate salaries and allowance increment for UNZA staff in 2021 is a clear demonstration that it does not mean well for its employees. Mr. Pumulo urges that the directive by the UNZA management not to increase its union salaries did not originate from the government as purported by management, but that of its own being.
The University of Zambia Professional Staff Union UNZA has expressed its displeasure over the failure by UNZA management to increase its salaries and allowances. At a meeting held on 4th June 2021 between UNZA management and the union, UNZA said the decision not to increase their salaries came from the government, a decision UNZA has refuted. UNZA Vice President Likezo Pumulo told journalists at a media briefing that the high cost of living coupled with high inflation has made it difficult for them to survive, hence the need they lobbied UNZA management to consider increasing their salaries.
The last meeting we had with management was on 4th June this year, where we were informed by management that they have been directed, or they have received a directive from the ministry not to offer any salary increment or any upward adjustment to any allowance to the University of Zambia professional staff.
And Mr. Pumulo says the refusal by management to increase its staff salaries has brought tension among its union members, who he says will soon act.
As I alluded to, we are from addressing the members, telling them the bad news, and the situation on the ground is very tense. And we, as executive, we may not be in a position to assure or make any commitment that there will be continued harmony in the university. As the public could be aware, as if it's a matter of adding salt to a troubled wound. The University of Zambia staff have not been paid their gratuities since 2011.
The union vice president has since accused UNZA management of being incapable of running the institution and wants the government to intervene in the matter.
It would be very unfortunate for government to technically declare a wage freeze on the University of Zambia staff. So our appeal to government is they should intervene and try to resolve this issue amicably. We are also appealing to government, I think, to prevail over the way management is running the institution. As we speak, management is losing a lot of money through unnecessary legal suits. We have a situation where management is breaking the law with impunity.
And UNZA Proso General Secretary NYUMBA Nalucha says he is disappointed at UNZA management, who he says are acting selfishly.
Very funny in the sense that management are the ones that have indicated to us that they will declare a dispute because we demanded a salary increment from them which they cannot meet. We find this kind of behavior from management to be uncalled for. It's like your child is asking something from you. Instead of giving the child, then you say, I'm reporting you to police.
Efforts to get a comment from the University of Zambia management could not materialize as the registrar was not available to offer a comment by broadcast time. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Police in Lusaka Tuesday warned and cautioned dismissed President Doctors Association President Dr. Brian Samba for his involvement in the one-week go-slow that characterized the medical field recently. Speaking to journalists after the questioning at the police headquarters, Dr. Samba says the push for better workers' conditions for the doctors will continue regardless of the current situation. Meanwhile, Dr. Samba says his lawyers are preparing to petition the suspension of his practicing license.
The fired medical doctor who leads the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia, Dr. Brian Samba, was Tuesday morning called for questioning at police headquarters. This is in relation to a go-slow that went on for 6 days and recently called off on grounds that the doctors needed to help resolve the growing number of COVID-19 cases despite government's failure to meet any of its demands. Dr. Samba has since been cautioned for inciting persons employed in the provision of essential services, contrary to Section 107, subsection 5 and 7, Chapter 269 of the Industrial and Labour Relations Act of the laws of Zambia. Speaking to journalists after questioning, Dr. Samba, visibly unshaken, confirmed he is doing fine and no challenge in any way in the fight to call for improved workers' conditions.
It was just a normal interview, nothing much. So all I can assure everyone is that I'm safe. And this is just a normal process. You know, when the police are carrying out an investigation, they usually, invite people to question them and all that. But we are safe, no arrests are being made, and they have assured us that at least we are. I shared it. I think a lot of people saw it. The letter came, only that everything was written in one night on 28th. All the letters, the intention to suspend, even the suspension itself, everything was done even after they had suspended already. That's when they did the letter. But our lawyer is already on it, and on that one, very soon everything will be fine.
You're wishing to recontest so that it can be given back to you?
Yes. That one was illegally done, and our lawyer was very clear about it, that they have been requested to withdraw or go to court. But as it stands, I just want to reiterate the fact that whatever is happening, the job, the license has got nothing to do with my being president. So I'm still president of the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia, and we shall still continue, advocating for the welfare of the doctors.
Dr. Samba was in the company of his lawyer and a few doctors who came to offer solidarity.
And say that he was summoned to the police, and as membership, we just thought it natural for us to come and support him, because like he has mentioned several times, it was only representing the aspirations of the membership, and so that is what we did today. We came in to support our president, so he has the support of the membership, and that is what is happening now. You can see other doctors with me as well.
Meanwhile, police spokesperson Esther Katongo confirmed this development in a statement to the media.
I wish to confirm that in Lusaka, police have warned and cautioned Dr. Brian Chota Sampa, aged 34, a medical doctor of Ngwai Village, Chief Kopa in Mpika district, also of Lusaka South, for inciting persons employed in the provision of essential services, and this is contrary to section 107, subsection 5 and 7 of Chapter 269 of the Industrial and Labor Relations Act of the Laws of Zambia. This is alleged to have occurred between 12th May 2021 and 31st June 2021 in Lusaka, and police have continued with investigations in the matter.
Dr. Sampa was on the 1st of June fired from the civil service, a letter he received 6 days later. Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD New Hope spokesperson Kefas Mukuka has condemned the dismissal of Resident Doctors Association President Dr. Brian Sampa from civil service. His dismissal comes a week after his license was suspended. In an interview with Camnet News in Lusaka, Mr. Mukuka says it is sad that his dismissal had to involve the police, a matter he says is not a political matter. He has since appealed to the Ministry of Labour, Health and Zambia Congress of Trade Union to sit down and address the matter at hand.
We would like to condemn the dismissal of the Resident Doctors Association Zambia President, Dr. Brian Sampa. The situation has to be condemned by all loving Zambians in the strongest term it deserves. This is purely a legal matter which should not be a police case, which should not even be a political matter. It is totally sad, to say the least. We now, as New Hope Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD, are appealing to the Ministry of Labour and Social Security. In the same vein, we are calling upon the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions that they should sit down with the resident doctors and seek civilized ways of handling this matter.
Transparency International Zambia TIZ has intensified its fight against corruption in Zambia by launching the Share Your Story campaign, a platform that will allow members of the public to directly report their corruption experiences. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe says with the tagline, "The power is yours, stop corruption," the Share Your Story campaign encourages members of the public to share their corruption experiences through a designated website in order to expose the real scale of everyday corruption in Zambia. Mr. Nyambe adds that the Share Your Story website will complement the existing TIZ corruption reporting mechanism under the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, which allows people to make official reports of cases of corruption that they come across for purpose of investigations and referral to relevant enforcement agencies. Meanwhile, a German Institute GIZ development advisor, Asulo Kajokati, says her institution has founded the initiative owing to the commitment to fight corruption in Zambia.
Corrupt practices have continued to rob the country of the much-needed development as resources meant for important sectors have ended up in the hands of a few selfish individuals. While corruption in Zambia has continued to be at the heart of Transparency International Zambia TIZ, bringing to book those involved in the act has been a challenge owing to lack of evidence as well as the nature of those involved in the act. But in order to ensure that the public gets involved in the fight against corruption, Transparency International Zambia has launched what it terms Share Your Story campaign, which encourages members of the public to share their experience with corruption through a designated website in order to expose the real scar of everyday corruption in Zambia.
This website, the Share Your Story website, is not a website in isolation, so to speak. So it's part of the wider work that we do as TIZ in terms of fighting corruption. And part of that wider work is that we already have a mechanism through which you are able to actually formally report cases of corruption and be able to provide, whatever evidence it is that you may have found. And so through that, we hope that this will also help to sort of boost that side of things as well. And that's why we've mentioned the aspect of referrals as well to other law enforcement agencies.
The first phase of the campaign will cater for 2 provinces before being rolled out to other provinces. What is clear is that members of the public who wish to tell their story are guaranteed of total protection.
Otherwise, based on the research that was done initially, we feel the places that will implement this being Choma, Livingstone, Kitwe, Ndola and Lusaka are the most areas where we could actually do a lot of help if this campaign was to be implemented in these areas. So definitely our vision is to have it being implemented at country level.
Transparency International Zambia adds that the platform will not be used to defame anyone, as all cases reported will be well scrutinized before being published or investigated.
We are trying to avoid the naming aspect because the stories are supposed to be shared anonymously and we are not supposed to mention any names in those stories at that point. So we already mentioned that for anybody who would like to report a case where institutions and names are mentioned, we have another platform within the website that can be used to report that. So when stories are shared, there is a dedicated team within the Transparency International Zambia who just looks into the suitability of that story to be flagged on public domain.
And GIZ has pledged its commitment at fighting corruption in Zambia by ensuring that funds are available to this cause.
We supported 2 different parts of this campaign essentially. So first was research. So we started probably a couple of years ago doing just research on understanding of how people see corruption in Zambia and how they report currently using the existing ALA platform. And at the back of that, we saw, okay, how can we encourage Zambians to report corruption more? And what else is needed to support the anti-corruption work that DZ is currently doing? And at the back of that research phase that we supported, there were recommendations of what should be done. And then we supported the development of this campaign. So
fighting corruption requires a concerted effort of all stakeholders. With the Tell Your Story campaign, members of the public are encouraged to take advantage of the platform and report all corrupt practices. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, government has revealed that Zambia will be receiving 108,000 additional doses of AstraZeneca vaccine by 21st June 2021. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Kennedy Malama, says this will go towards supplementing the vaccine assigned for the second dose recipients as well as those yet to receive for the first time. In addition, Dr. Malama says the country expects to receive the 100,000 doses of Sinopharm in the next 5 weeks, adding that government has continued making strides in mobilizing more vaccine through the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Trust and other options as approved by Cabinet. The PS has since encouraged all to take the vaccine, a program which will resume for first-timers and the second dose on the 23rd of June 2021. Meanwhile, Zambia has in the last 24 hours recorded 1,231 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 out of 10,115 tests conducted, giving a 12% positivity. Members of the public have since been reminded to adhere to the COVID-19 health measures put in place.
You ought to seek information only from trusted sources. We are encouraged by those of our people and urging those who they came into contact with to get tested as well. Our vaccination program as a country by 21st of June this year. This will go towards supplementing the vaccines assigned for the second dose recipients as well as those yet to receive the first dose, and will keep the country informed on the progress. In addition, as we updated previously, we expect to receive the 100,000 doses of STANDOFF, making strides in mobilizing more vaccines through the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Trust and other options as approved by Cabinet. Countrymen, women and the youth, in the last 24 hours as a country, we recorded 1,231 new confirmed cases of COVID-19 out of a total of in our country, 201,996. The breakdown of the new cases with positivity indicated per province is as follows. Central, 118, positivity 13. Copper Belt, 3 cases, positivity 7%. 162 cases, 17%. Muchinga, 9, 2%. Northern, 3, 1%. Northwestern, 32 cases, 4%. Southern, 211, 14%. And Western, 84 cases, 17%. We wish to advise the public that our surveillance teams are still operating under targeted testing guidelines. And as such, we appeal to all of you not to make requests for mass testing to be conducted in your institutions, be it schools, workplaces, among others. We are still implementing targeted testing and not mass testing. Therefore, any requests made for mass testing will not be allowed under this response. Regrettably, as a country, we recorded 6 deaths in the last 24 hours. 3 of these were reported from Lusaka, and the other 3 were from Southern Province.
A pharmaceutical expert, Jerome Kanyika, has doubted government's sincerity in the fight against the COVID-19 by way of banning rallies and imposing other restrictions. Mr. Kanyika is concerned that political parties are defying COVID-19 rules as they conduct door-to-door campaigns.
Recently, the Electoral Commission of Zambia banned rallies and advised political parties to utilize alternative means of campaigning. These included media appearances, flyers, and door-to-door campaigns, among other things. Health authorities have been firm on this issue, but while they are busy discouraging mass gatherings, a sample of the door-to-door campaign in Lusaka's Kanyama constituency looked something like this. This is not the only incident. Perhaps it is because no politician would want to be seen alone campaigning, as that may send wrong signals. Issues of popularity also come into the picture.
We need you to appreciate and understand or say is about the issue concerning the campaign rallies that are happening. Today we have seen what the Patriotic Front, the Lusaka Province Youth Chairman did in Kanyama, where he said he's doing a door-to-door campaign in the midst of the COVID, and you have seen the numbers of people that he moved with as they claim to doing the door-to-door campaigns. One thing that I can mention here is all the cases that we have for coronavirus are all indoor cases as compared to outdoor cases. So these things of saying people are doing door-to-door campaign, they are moving COVID from one house to another house, from one house to another house.
A pharmaceutical expert, Jerome Kanyika, has doubted the country's commitment to combat the COVID-19.
To rethink on the issue of banning the public rallies, outdoor activities have less. There is no any case documented due to outdoor activity as compared to the indoor activities like door-to-door campaigns. What ECZ should also use to talk about banning political rallies, they should use science-based evidence, not just from the thinking of someone. No, they should use science, and science clearly indicates that the activities that have resulted in an increase on the number of cases of COVID, it's issues of like door-to-door campaigns and other indoor activities as compared to outdoor activities that they have banned in terms of political rallies.
The police and health officials have vowed to curtail lawlessness, but on the ground, it is something else. And stakeholders have been urging the police to fairly apply the law in the COVID-19 pandemic campaign environment. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Socialist Party Copper Belt spokesperson Joseph Kangwa has charged that the decision by the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ to ban political rallies is clearly a method to disadvantage opposition political parties and work to the advantage of the ruling Patriotic Front. Mr. Kangwa states that the decision by the ECZ is another evidence to show that the institution is not an independent institution when it comes to decision making. He has accused the Commission of getting orders from the ruling party. He reiterates that instead of functioning like a pillar of the country's democracy as envisioned by the country's institution, the ECZ continues to do the opposite.
The ban on political rallies is yet another clear indication that Zambia is no longer a democracy, as the Zambian government likes to portray the country. We are under a dictatorship pretending to be a democracy. We are back in one-party state, but one pretending to be tolerant of political parties. Ever since the PF came into power under the leadership of Mr. Lungu, the government has been acting as a threat to democracy. It has prevented protest actions, restricted the actions of NGOs, silenced the media, attacked opposition groups, and intimidated the populace. Now it is using the ECZ. Now it is threatening the very lives of opposition candidates. Democracy means rule of the people. What we have in Zambia is rule of a hardship of PF leaders.
Constitutional lawyer John Sangwa has told the Constitutional Court that it is incorrect for presidential running mates to claim that the provision that apply to a presidential candidate do not apply to them because in an event the seat becomes vacant, the presidential running mate automatically becomes president. This is in a matter in which historian and political commentator Dr. Sishua and Lusaka lawyer Alfred Kanda have petitioned all running mates for the 16 political parties participating in this year's general elections for not adhering to the procedure stipulated in the condition when filing in nomination papers. When the matter came up for hearing Tuesday morning before a full bench of 9 judges, State Counsel Sangwa argued that the submission by the Attorney General that running mates depend on the requirements met by the presidential candidate when filing in nomination papers is abrogating the provision of the law. The matter has since been adjourned to Thursday, 16 hours for judgment.
The Constitutional Court is this week Thursday expected to give its judgment in a matter where 16 presidential running mates have been petitioned for failing to comply with the provision of the law when filing in their nomination, which is Article 101 of the Constitution. In this case, the presidential running mates for all the 16 political parties participating in the August 12 general elections have been petitioned by political commentator Dr. Shishua and a Lusaka lawyer Alfred Nkanda on ground that they contravened the said Article 101. The two petitioners are seeking a declaration that the 16 presidential running mates' failure to adhere to Article 101 I and J and 110(2) renders their nomination to contest in this year's elections to the office of the Vice President a nullity and void. They further want an order that the running mates' nomination papers be removed from the Constitutional Court for purposes of quashing. And when the matter came up for hearing this Tuesday morning, the 8th of June 2021, the Attorney General, who is the 17th respondent in the matter, submitted that the petition before court is incompetent because Article 52, which has been relied upon, does not apply to presidential running mate. His argument is that the running mate depends on the requirement made by the presidential candidate when filing in their nomination papers, hence not required to pay nomination fees nor provide 100 supporters from each province in the country. The Attorney General argues that the Vice President is not elected independently and no votes are cast for them because they depend on a presidential candidate. But State Counsel representing the first respondent, John Sangwa, argues that the petition is on merit and the nomination papers for presidential running mate must be quashed. And the second petitioner, Alfred Nkanda, states that anyone who contests in the election is a candidate, hence must follow the rules that applies to them. 10th of June it is to hear the court's judgment. Miriam Kamba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition United Party for National Development UPND Deputy Legal Chairperson Mulambo Haimbe says the proposed amendment to the presidential petition needs a lot of fine-tuning. Speaking to Camnet News, Mr. Haimbe says the proposed amendment needs to consider taking the Kenyan route where a witness testified via affidavits, unlike doing so orally. He says as much as there is a proposal to increase the number of days under which a presidential petition can be heard, adding that the time taken by witnesses testifying orally takes very long. Zambia's Chief Justice last week announced additional new rules of hearing a presidential petition.
It's a positive step, though I think insufficient. It's an attempt to abridge the time it takes for a presidential petition to be heard. As you are aware, with the current constitutional provisions, you must hear and determine a petition within 14 days. However, there are still many question marks that arise. For example, in other jurisdictions such as Kenya, petitions are heard on the basis of affidavit evidence rather than hearing orally a witness. That kills the time that is taken for a petition to be heard. Arguably, witnesses can take a very long time on the stands, and so the statutory instrument or the proposed rules, beg pardon, fall short of addressing all the key issues that are there. And so it's a positive step, but I think a lot more can be done, and it answers a very important question. I think there was over the last couple of years discussion around amending the constitution so as to increase the number of days, and we were consistent, those of us who did not agree with the proposed amendments, that there are ways around this, and now we have just shown and demonstrated that where there is will on the part of the leaders, then there are ways in which to address the question of whether or not the time period given is sufficient.
The Lusaka High Court has sentenced to death former NYUMBA YANGA teacher Kenneth Makina for shooting dead his ex-wife in February 2019. High Court Judge Paxi Yangailo has also slapped Makina with a 25 years jail sentence for shooting his former landlord in the leg. This was in a case in which the 42-year-old was facing 2 counts of murder and acts intending to cause grievous bodily harm. Facts in this matter were that on the 13th of February 2019, the ex-wife to the convict Charity Jukubi had gone to collect a wardrobe from the house of her former husband's residence in Woodlands area. Evidence before court was that when the deceased reached the convict's place, she stood outside while waiting to be given the wardrobe that she had gone to collect, but instead her former husband went outside with a 9mm pistol and shot her. You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Mastersign, we will make it shine.
Chagwalungu and the PF have facilitated the expansion of Levi Mwanawasa University Teaching Hospital. Vote for Edgar Chagwalungu and the PF that have brought you change.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
It's your friends.
I insist.
Your drama.
Do you think you can talk about my dad like that? You're in charge.
And intrigue.
Are you out for good or what? What do you want? Dare you say that to me, eh?
Your heroes. It's your moment with your stories. Made at home for your home. 'Cause great stories start on DSTV.
2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses with only a few months remaining down to the ballot. The battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the rest of the news. The Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, JCTR, has urged political parties to focus on issues best campaign that will address the cost of basic essentials that have been on the rise. JCTR Social and Economic Development Programs Manager Chama Mundia says campaigns should stipulate clear, workable and enforceable intervention to address the rising inflation, currency depreciation and huge debt overhang that continues to impact the cost of living in the nation, where many struggle to meet the cost of basic essentials. Mr. Mundia says the impact of a continuous increase in inflation cannot be overlooked, especially given the effect of COVID-19 on household income, economic activities, and economic growth. The program's manager, however, says the cost of living for a family of 5 living in Lusaka, as measured by JCTR Basic Needs and Nutrition Basket for the month of May, declined by 3,001.65 ngwe, owing to the reduction in the prices of food items. Mr. Mundia says vegetables, fruits, beef and charcoal recorded a reduction in the prices, while kapenta, meal, pounded groundnuts, rice and chicken all recorded an increase in the prices. United Party for National Development UPND Alliance Media Director Tawa Kawana has advised Socialist Party President Fred Membe to refrain from attacking other political parties as a strategy to campaign ahead of the August 12th general elections. Speaking to Camnet TV News, Mr. Kawana has noted with concern over the statement being peddled by the Socialist Party leader, urging him to sober up and tell the Zambian people what he would do for them if given an opportunity to govern this country. Mr. Kawana says politics should be about selling political party manifestos, putting the government in power under proper checks and balances, and not fellow oppositions. Mr. Kawana's response is in the light of the remarks attacking the UPND by the Socialist Party leader, with the latest being Tuesday when he appeared on one of the radio stations in Lusaka.
We are concerned with the kind of campaign message that Comrade Fred Membe is passing on. We have noticed the past few weeks that he's been insistent in talking about President Arainde Hichilema, President Mutati, KBF and other leaders. I think he must concentrate on selling his message to the people of Zambia, as opposed to him trying to talk about other people. Look at the billboards he's putting up, for example, this one, 5 times loser, this, that, a PF and UPND, Siamese twins. You cannot talk about other political parties in order for you to go ahead. It's better you sell to the Zambian people that which you want them to buy into. It would be unfortunate, for example, if we wanted to be malicious and start talking about your issues with the failure to pay taxes, and if we ask you to also ask, as you are asking the people of Zambia to rally behind you, how are you failing to ask your own wife to rally behind you because she's UPND? So we don't want to go that route. I think what is best is sell your message, we sell our message, and we all have a peaceful campaign so that we don't leave any sour grapes along the way.
Ministry of Home Affairs Commissioner of Refugees Abdon Mawere says Zambia is currently hosting 98,400 refugees who need to be integrated into the development agenda of the country. Mr. Mawere says the country has since 2017 witnessed an increase in the number of refugees entering the country owing to the peace that Zambia enjoys. The commissioner adds that there is a need for refugees to be included in developmental programs such as education, health and sports activities to better their stay in Zambia. He adds that most refugees have opted to attend their citizenship in Zambia and not return to their countries, a decision that should be respected and not intimidated.
Lusaka, which is considered as the 4th refugee settlement, is also hosting around 17,000 people. So you can see that since 2017, the numbers have been rising daily. At the moment, we have new arrivals in Matambala, counting up to 358. These have arrived directly into the settlement. While here at head office in Lusaka, we register around 200 people every week. So this is the situation now, and the numbers are going up, despite us feeling that the main source of refugee movement, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo, the situation there has stabilized, but people still continue to move. Others that are arriving still are from the Republic of Burundi, while others arrive as far away as from Somalia. And these account for the main refugee groups. But among the former refugees, the Angolans are at 19,000, and the Rwandans are at around 4,700. So this is the current situation. Government is, as usual, continuing to take care of refugees together with or with the assistance of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees that contribute highly and greatly to our refugee protection programs.
In other news, the Prison Care and Counseling Association has observed the need to put in place a survey to ascertain the current HIV prevalence rate in prisons in the country. Priska Executive Director Godfrey has also called on the government through the Ministry of Finance to enhance funding to the Zambia Correctional Service to help promote good health in correctional facilities. He tells Camnet TV News that improved funding will help to operationalize the health directorates in the Ministry of Health.
What we have, the prevalence, HIV prevalence in our correction centers still stands 27.4, but that is, a bit outdated. It has taken long, so we need a survey. We need government to find money. We need the cooperating partners to find money so that we do a specific survey and visit our correctional centers. The beauty with our correctional centers, including myself, when I was there, I tested twice. 90% of the people that are in our correctional facilities are tested, and those who are found positive are actually put on the ARVs. Now, the only component where we need to strengthen those systems, one, nutrition. So, because when people are on hard drugs like TB, ARVs, they need balanced food. And not only that, we need the government, Ministry of Finance, to allocate enough funds to Zambia Correctional Service to operationalize fully the health directorate. They have created a new directorate. They need to recruit more doctors. They need to recruit more health workers. We need to increase the number of correctional-based clinics to all the major correctional centers so that we avoid the issue of escorting inmates to those major hospitals. That is where the answer is. That is where the answer is.
The British High Commission in Zambia and the Worldwide Fund for Nature WWF has signed a new partnership agreement to collaborate and support climate change and environmental works in Zambia. In the year of the International Climate Change Summit COP26 to be held in Glasgow in November 2021, the partnership highlights the commitment of the two organizations to support climate change and environmental action. British High Commission to Zambia Nicholas Woolley says for many countries like Zambia, building resilience to the impact of climate change and support for adoption to clean and green development pathways are of central importance. And WWF Country Director Nachilala Nkombe is excited that the partnership, as she believes, will promote solutions that will build on individual efforts to better the nation.
This new partnership with WWF Zambia is part of our approach to delivering on that fourth goal. We can only rise to the challenge of climate change by working together. WWF is the preeminent international conservation charity. Here in Zambia, WWF is leading the way with innovative approaches in key areas like ecosystem restoration and climate finance. Of course, we have a historic relationship as WWF itself was founded in the UK and was passionately championed by the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. We feel that the missions of our two organisations in Zambia are well aligned and our respective strengths make us more than the sum of our parts. The UK government and WWF both support key priorities in Zambia's nationally determined contributions around promotion of climate-smart agriculture and our diversified renewable energy mix.
In Zambia. Through this partnership, our commitment is to bring voices that are not heard on climate change, but also raise awareness on the agency of climate change. Unmuting voices, and as noted by His Excellency, is going to be a critical piece of our work. We want to hear those voices from Chavuma to Luangwa to Sesheke we have not been hearing, who are at the forefront of implementing solutions at the local level in the fight against climate change. As WWF, this partnership is a demonstration of our commitment to supporting climate change and biodiversity conservation initiatives in Zambia in this crucial year where the COP26 Climate Change Summit in the UK must deliver the confidence, the clarity and the capacity for the world to respond effectively to climate change. In many ways, we're formalizing a partnership that has started over several months where we've realized that we perhaps would achieve more working more closely together than working perhaps in a more ad hoc way.
We'll take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Every day for me means hard work. Going to sell my goods at the local market. To get more customers, I have my secret. Oracle Pure Glycerin. It's soft, smooth, and keeps my skin perfect. And my customers know it. Thank you, Oracle, for my perfect skin.
Get into the best mood this June. Be ready to enjoy your downtime with sensational shows, keeping you fully entertained this month on GoTV. Great. You don't have to be perfect to be a good person. And boss ladies making big moves. This one is for all the superwomen. They're the tiniest and the cutest with a special delivery just for you. For your favorite shows, keep connected to GoTV with entertainment to get you in the best mood this June.
Well, I think that's everyone.
GoTV. Love it.
Camnet TV is here to entertain, educate, and inform you. Catch Rise and Thrive at 0730 hours every Saturday. Fresh and new praise and worship comes Monday to Friday at 8 hours. Kids need to be glued to the TV every weekday at 09 hours for their favorite cartoons. Off the pitch with the boys as they talk about sport on Saturdays at 0930 hours.
Remember, we are also here to entertain you with our different varieties of movies every weekday at 10 hours. Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chuluwa with Healing Word Ministries International Church live sermon every Sunday at 10 hours.
Katamanda brings to you another journey of gospel ministers on Saturdays at 10:30 hours. The verdict comes to your screens at 17:45 hours. Join the Revival Harvest Church every Sunday at 18:30 hours.
Every Monday to Saturday, join us on the news desk at 12 hours as we bring to you the midday news, and at 19:30 hours Central African time every day for the main bulletin.
The ministry with Pastor Moses Chilua comes every Friday at 20:45 hours. On Mondays, it's your favorite national matters at 20:45 hours.
Wednesday and Thursday, Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua are on Partnership of Greatness with different spiritual teachings at 20:45 hours.
And Frank on Camnet comes to your screen every Tuesday at 20:45 hours.
Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome back. We now get into our international items. The United States announced on Monday visa restrictions against leaders and accomplices of violence in Western Cameroon, the scene of 4-year bloody conflict between armed Anglophone groups and the army. The sanctions are aimed at those who undermine the peaceful resolution of the crisis, the U.S. State Department said in a statement without naming those targeted by the ban. The statement further read, Washington is deeply concerned about the continuing violence and continues to call on the Cameroonian government and armed separatist group to end the violence and engage in dialogue without preconditions to peacefully resolve the crisis. The English-speaking minority in Cameroon's northwest and southwest region blame the French-speaking majority for marginalizing them. In 2017, protests by the teachers and lawyers in Cameroon's two English-speaking regions over marginalization quickly transformed into armed conflict. A South African woman has given birth to 10 babies, breaking the record held by Malian woman Halim Cisse, who gave birth to 9 children in Morocco in May. According to South African local media, Kosiame Tamara Sitole, 37, underwent a caesarean operation to give birth to 7 boys and 3 girls, making her the Guinness record holder for the most children birthed by one woman at once. Reports further indicate that Sitole and her husband Tabona Tsitsotse were expecting 8 babies, but 2 babies had apparently missed the scan due to the fact that they were tucked inside the wrong tube. Speaking to the Pretoria News, Tsotsetsi said Sitole gave birth to their bundle of joy 29 weeks into her pregnancy and that her pregnancy was natural as she was not on any fertility treatment. We now get into our sports item. The Zambia men's national team take on the Squirrels of Benin in an international friendly match to being played at the Metheo Koreku Friendly Stadium in Cotonou. Coach Militin Michos Radojevic will be leading Zambia in the second friendly match during the FIFA window after having lost 3-1 to a star-studded Senegal on Saturday. The Chipolopolo have put behind the loss in these and are looking to bounce back against Benin, who are using the match to prepare for their delayed Cameroon 2021 to be played in 2022 Africa Cup of Nations final clash with the Sierra Leone. Both teams will be highly motivated to record a positive result. Mitchell will be boosted by the return of Benson Sakala and Cyril Chiwe, who missed the Senegal match due to illness. Skipper Roger Kola will be looking to impose his frame up front as he did against Senegal with the Aguile Moses Spiri among the leaders in the team. Benin has held Zambia to a 2-0 draw. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. UNZA workers and management in salary increment standoff. Government announces that Zambia has recorded over 1,000 cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. Former NYUMBA YANGA teacher sentenced to death for shooting ex-wife. And in international news, US imposes visa restrictions on perpetrators of violence in Cameroon. And in sports, Zambia takes on Benin in an international friendly. Before we go, here's a Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Psalm 100, verse 4, and it reads, "Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name." Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Pleasant viewing.